Hi ARMY. Welcome back. Can we talk about what happened for just a second? Because honestly, it felt like time actually stopped. One tiny movement, one playful pose, and suddenly an entire stadium forgot how to breathe. It wasn't just loud, it was overwhelming. Thousands of voices crashed together into one unstoppable wave, and in that instant, you could feel every single person realizing they were witnessing a moment they would replay in their minds for years. The atmosphere inside the stadium already felt unreal. Long before the music reached its peak, there was this electric anticipation hanging in the air. Every light stick shimmered like another tiny star, stretching across the venue until it looked like the night sky had somehow descended onto Munich. The music echoed through every corner, ARMY sang every lyric with everything they had, and the energy kept building higher and higher. You could feel it. That feeling that something unexpected was about to happen. Not because of the choreography. Not because of the set list. Just because Taehyung was there. There's something about him that never really makes sense. He doesn't have to be moving constantly. He doesn't need dramatic gestures every second. Somehow, even when he's standing still, your eyes naturally find him. It's like he carries this calm confidence that quietly pulls everyone's attention without asking for it. And honestly, how does he even do that? As the performance continued, Taehyung looked completely immersed in the moment. The stage lights shifted between deep blues and brilliant gold, creating shadows across his face that somehow made every expression even more captivating. One second he looked playful. The next, almost mysterious. Then suddenly he flashed that signature smile that instantly melted thousands of hearts all at once. ARMY couldn't stop cheering. Every camera seemed to point toward him. Every phone tried to capture the same impossible moment. But then, something happened that no one expected. It wasn't part of an elaborate dance break. It wasn't some giant stage effect. In fact, it lasted only a few seconds. Yet somehow, it became one of the most talked about moments of the night. Taehyung paused for just a heartbeat. You could almost see him scanning the crowd, taking in the endless ocean of purple lights stretching far into the distance. There was this tiny smirk forming at the corner of his lips, as if he already knew exactly what he was about to do. And then, he casually lifted one arm. Nothing dramatic. Nothing rushed. Just smooth, confident, effortless. He bent his arm slightly and playfully flexed his bicep toward the audience. That's it. That was the pose. And somehow, the stadium absolutely exploded. Thousands of ARMY screamed so loudly that it almost drowned out the music itself. It wasn't just cheering anymore. It was pure excitement bursting out all at once. You could hear laughter, screams, people shouting his name, and those unmistakable gasps that happen when something catches you completely off guard. Honestly, did you feel that too? Because it wasn't really about showing off a muscle. It was the confidence. The timing. The way he looked almost shy and playful at the same time. It felt less like someone trying to impress people and more like a friend joking around with thousands of fans who already adored him. That tiny difference made everything feel incredibly genuine. And that's what makes Taehyung so fascinating. He understands moments. Not just performances. Moments. He somehow knows exactly when to be powerful, and exactly when to simply smile. Exactly when to command the stage, and exactly when to let his natural personality shine through. That playful flex wasn't loud. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't exaggerated. But because it came so naturally, it felt unforgettable. The cameras immediately caught ARMY's reactions. People were laughing. Some covered their faces in disbelief. Others completely lost control, jumping up and down while trying to keep recording. You could almost imagine thousands of group chats instantly filling with messages. Did you just see that? Replay that right now. Oh my gosh, Taehyung. The excitement spread across the stadium faster than anyone could process. But here's the part that made the whole thing even more special. Right after hearing that enormous reaction, Taehyung couldn't hide his own happiness. His smile grew even wider. His eyes crinkled into that familiar expression fans know so well. For just a second, the global superstar disappeared. Instead, you saw someone genuinely amused that one playful little pose had made so many people scream. That's the side of him fans treasure. The effortless humanity behind the superstar image. The moments where he isn't trying to create something memorable, yet somehow creates memories anyway. Can we talk about how powerful that connection really is? Because stadium concerts can sometimes feel distant. The stage is massive. The audience is enormous. Thousands upon thousands of people. Yet somehow, Taehyung has this incredible ability to make those huge spaces feel surprisingly intimate. One smile feels personal. One glance feels intentional. One playful gesture somehow makes everyone believe it was meant just for them. That's a rare gift. As the performance continued, the excitement never fully settled back down. Every time Taehyung moved across the stage, another wave of cheers followed him. It almost felt like the audience was waiting, wondering. Would he do it again? Would another spontaneous moment appear? That anticipation became part of the experience itself. Every second felt alive. Every expression mattered. Even the smallest movements suddenly carried enormous emotional weight. And just when you thought the excitement had reached its peak, something interesting happened. Not another dramatic pose. Not another huge surprise. Instead, Taehyung simply laughed. A genuine laugh. Bright. Relaxed. Almost bashful. It lasted only a moment, but somehow that simple laugh made the entire interaction feel even warmer. Because behind all the charisma, behind the breathtaking visuals, behind the global fame, there was still someone enjoying the happiness of sharing that stage with ARMY. That's probably why these moments stay with people far longer than perfectly executed choreography. Dance routines can be rehearsed. Lighting can be programmed. Special effects can be planned months in advance. But genuine reactions? Those can't be scripted. Those happen naturally. And fans recognize the difference immediately. You could almost feel the emotional rhythm of the entire stadium changing. One second everyone was overwhelmed by excitement. The next, they were simply smiling. Not because anything huge had happened, but because authenticity has a strange way of reaching people more deeply than spectacle ever could. Honestly, that's the magic. Not just the pose. Not just the flex. Not just the screaming. It was everything surrounding that tiny moment. The anticipation beforehand. The confidence in the gesture. The explosion of cheers afterward. The smile that followed. The laughter. The connection. It wasn't just a pose. It became a conversation without words. Taehyung moved. ARMY answered. And for those few unforgettable seconds, it felt as though an entire stadium was speaking the exact same emotional language. Then the music carried everyone forward again, the lights swept across the crowd like waves of purple and gold, and Taehyung continued performing with that same effortless confidence. But if you looked closely, you could still see fans smiling long after the moment had passed, still replaying that playful flex in their minds, still trying to process how something so simple had managed to create such an unforgettable reaction, and somehow, it felt like the night was only beginning to reveal its most memorable moments.